TikTok is safe for another 3 months. That's because just before President Trump left for the UK, he signed this executive order to once again extend the enforcement of the TikTok ban. This means TikTok will be safe and available in the United States until December 16th. And none of those massive fines mandated in the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act will be imposed on any U.S. company that does business with TikTok between now and then. This extension, of course, comes after just yesterday, the president said his administration had reached a framework deal that would allow for the sale of TikTok. Now, you're hearing a lot about potential buyers and what the platform is going to look like once it's sold, and what about the algorithm? The fact is, we don't know any of those answers to any of those questions because there is no deal. A framework is not a deal. We have seen several frameworks announced by this president and the White House, and some of them have fallen through. So this is most certainly not over, and everything you're hearing is speculation based on anonymous sources. Now, what we know is what the law says, and the law says China cannot own more than 20% of TikTok in the United States. So they will still be involved even after the sale in some capacity. But the other 80% will have to be non-Chinese owners. Of course, one of the front runners being floated is Oracle, who is already partnered with TikTok. I did an entire special report on TikTok's US data security operation and Oracle's involvement in that through their servers, if you're interested in learning more about Oracle's current involvement. And what about the powerful algorithm that makes TikTok so special? Is that going to be part of this new deal? Now, as I've been reporting for years, because of Chinese law, that algorithm cannot leave China without the government's approval. Yesterday, China's lead negotiator said specifically about the algorithm, China's resolve to safeguard its legitimate rights and interests is unwavering, and it will resolutely protect national interests and the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese enterprises overseas. He went on to say China will conduct technology export reviews in accordance with the laws and regulations. At the same time, the Chinese government fully respects the wishes of its overseas enterprises and supports them in conducting equal commercial negotiations with partners based on market principles. Now, that's a lot of words, but we don't actually know what China is going to do about the algorithm either, or if that is going to stay with China and the new US TikTok will have something completely different. President Trump will be speaking with President Xi of China on Friday of this week and is going to be hammering out the final details of this deal. Once that happens, we may know more, but even then, this still may not be over.